I started, not just now, not when you was talking. Giving everybody a second to log on. Give us the second, Moors. If everybody like what we saying, man, Cash App, $ KGB. It's much obliged. We are a real organization. So we got a couple more minutes because we like to give our people a second to log on because you know how some people are on the NDC time. So let's give everybody a second to log in. Thank for the donation, man. The Cash App, $ KGB. And like we said, whatever's on your heart, $5, $1, don't matter. And we'll send you literature. Because that's what it's about, man. Well, give us a couple more minutes for a couple more people can log on. It's Sunday school from a Moorish perspective. All right. Let's get this popping. Let's get this started, y'all. I told you. What we got? 308. This mic on Islam Moors. Islam Moors. All true light seekers. We're going to get this teaching popping. Everybody got their pencil and their papers? We got a couple more seconds. We got a couple more seconds. Peace, Morris. Thanks for the donation, Noble. Thanks for the donation. That's what I'm saying, man. I hope everyone, when we do message, I hope everyone give a donation. $5, $10. And if you want to become a member, that $5 is going to doing that. Just like how I break it down, our members fulfill our $100 a month by giving $5 a day for 20 days. But Moors, it's not, if I'm feeding you on here, man, and you like what we're saying, there's nothing wrong with giving a donation to a organization and a movement that you like. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you want a tax receipt at the end of the year, you can have it, because we real. Everything that you pledge to our organization is a donation. You know? That's all I'm saying. And we're not here to beg anyone or say we need this and that. We're asking for a charitable contribution, whatever you want to give, because we're an organization. And I'm coming back giving you some facts, peer-reviewed scholarly research that nobody can refute. They might not like your candor. They might not like your delivery, but no one can refute the facts. I don't care who they proclaim to be or what title they give themselves. This is scholarship and science. So when we ask for a $5 donation or a $10 donation every time we do a speaking, I don't think that's a burden on any of us. And I think everybody will agree. And if they don't, well, those will be the ones that will be deleted, because this ain't for you. And I keep telling everybody, I'm courting everybody, man. I'm courting everybody. I'm doing something that I get paid for. Like when I speak, man, my parents in the room, man, I'm an educator. I'm coming back to our people, trying to show us legally and lawfully, not trying to hustle you with no fake law stuff, giving you real things, telling you we have a spirituality, a law, history, breaking down all these books, this science. And I'm telling Morris, we are an organization. We got to take advantage of the laws. We got to take advantage of our religious rights. I'm not doing this just to talk, Morris. I told y'all, in a minute, I'm going to be gone. In a minute, I'm going to be gone. And what we're trying to do is build a community of people. We're trying to build a community of people. And when I tell people the internet, how we're networking is our net worth, we don't have to physically be here in Arizona to build. We travel all over places. I know Moors go all over these places to have fun, to waste their money. Negroes get their income taxes and go have fun and waste their money and do that every year. Well, what about now? You say when you were a child, you act like a child, but when you became an adult, you put away childish ways. Why not we doing things that adults should do? And that's building. That's letting our own educators educate, letting our teachers teach, letting our noble men lead, bringing us back to something, showing people that we ain't here to create nothing. We're going back into the constitutional fold. We are defending the Constitution legally and lawfully, and that's what this is about. We can't have 5, 10 different perspectives from all these different people giving you all this pseudoscience. So that's what I'm telling you. I'm pleading to brothers, man. Help us build this organization legally and lawfully. Everything we do, the Burn the Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. I tell Moors, do not let nobody get you in trouble of you being a Moor. That's just your pedigree. This Kemetic science, this masonry is ours. You got to know that. Our nationality is wrapped up in the laws, international law, in the amendments. Moor science is not no outside religion. We're building something, Moors. And so that's the only reason why when I say when Moors come on my page or when individuals come on my page and I say, hey man, if you like what we're saying, and I'm asking a question right now, and there's people on here, and this is a yes or no question. If you like what I'm saying, and you come on here every time I deliver a message, is it a burden to you every time I deliver a message you to donate $5 or $10? Yes or no? Yes or no? And I'm just asking questions, because if it is, I won't ask. And I just keep talking to my members, and I just block everybody. No disrespect to no one. Yes or no? Because if it was me, it's definitely no problem. Me and my parents were just talking about this earlier. I promise you, y'all. And so I'm asking, before I even get into this, I'm asking the question. And to everybody that's on here, to everybody that's on here, this is just a simple yes or no. If you like what we saying, and you know we're a real organization, and you know we're trying to build, and every time we come on here, if we come on here 5 days a week, and us as a nonprofit organization that's tax exempt for the federal government, that asks our brothers and sisters, Moorish brothers and sisters, for donations, every time we give a teaching, is it a burden on our fellow Moorish brothers and sisters to give $5 or $10 donation every time we come on here and deliver a message of science? Yes or no? Yes or no? That's all I ask. Because if it is, like I said, I would just teach my students. Yes or no, Moors? And that's all I'm saying. Because if Moors wanted to be students, the $5 that you're giving every day, thank you, James. Thank you. Thank you, James. That's all I'm saying. Because I think we start forgetting we don't have to physically be in a place to be educated. Okay, just imagine you was in the area I'm in, or just imagine I'm in the area you in, and you come into my temple. Right now, we'll have Sunday school at 3 o'clock. Everybody will be there. What's the difference? You would come in, you would sit in my physical temple and just walk out and leave every week. You would just come every week. Hell no, you wouldn't, because my motive's gonna stop you. Oh dang, I said hell. Yep, that's in the pot. I'm sorry, Empress. So that's 20. Every time they say a curse word, I got to do push-ups. So that's 25. But do y'all understand what I'm saying? So I'm just talking to my brothers and sisters, because I'm gonna put myself in you guys' shoes. I'm just gonna be honest, because I'm a seeker of truth. If it was vice versa, and my brother giving this science, and I'm not in the physical area with my brother, if it was me, I'm going to be trying all in Allah's will to try to move out where my noble at. That's number one. Because I'm from Flint, Michigan. My empress will tell you, once we did our union, I was out. I'm from Flint, Michigan. So a person can't tell me what we can't do. A person would say they can't do something, that means you're not a god. That means you a slave to something. And I ain't a slave to a damn thing. My mind is bigger than anything. That's what I tell Moors about the Kemetic principles. And one is the law of attracting. You ain't attracting nothing to you. Everything you got, somebody gave to you. You ain't listening. So, yes or no, Moors? It's more and Moors on here. If I'm giving you a message on here and I'm like, Moors, if you was coming to my physical temple, and we don't ask nobody for nothing, but when my people will be speaking, they say, hey, man, we ask for a charitable contribution. Man, our sheikh is giving a message to the public. It's no cost. Our doors is open to everyone. But we do have members and we do have students that we teach lessons. And so we want the people to come in. But if a person can't come and before they be a member, give a $5 donation and a $10 donation every time we speak, I think that's no class. And then we'll go spend our funds somewhere that don't mean anything. And then we say we are Moorish. Because we all are Moors, but Moorish is the science. You're not Moorish if you're not covenant with a brother that's going to teach you and educate you. And that's the issue I'm saying. So as we get into this teaching, as I go, man, it's Cash App $KGB Moors. That's all we ask, a $5 donation, a $10 donation. We don't ask for nothing major. I'll try to show you all us how the pennies can make dollars. This what I show is how the strong bear the infirmities of the weak. This is what I'm showing y'all. Once we have 100 members on paper, all of us giving $100 a month, at the end of the year, we got 120 grand. And that's just small. Y'all ain't listening to me. $5 a day for 20 days fulfill your $100 a month membership. Your first time membership due is $250. You can do that $5 a day for how many days? 52 days. Or you can do it how you want. All tax exempt. When you get your books, everything from us. We are real. I'm telling you, our webpage is getting ready to be in the making, man. It's a lot that's getting ready to go on. And then we're going to see, just like my wife, my empress, and my cousin was saying, when the webpage is up, then what we're going to see. Because all of Moors be like, okay, no, you got a page? Or you got a page? And I'm like, no, but you own my Instagram page looking at everything that I have for us. Why would you want to get off the page and then jump to an Instagram and jump to a damn web page and you own the page looking at everything that I'm offering to you? That to me is not a logic. But we're going to have our web page for brothers and go to and look right on our page and get all our regalia. And then our temple and school page is going to come following that to where all our members and students, you would be able to log on our temple and school web page and view the lessons. Anybody that's not a member and student, the same way I'm just asking for a $5 donation or a $10 donation, you'll be able to go on the web page and give a small donation to watch the messages. Plain and simple. And that's simple, man. And I think that's a small pledge or charitable contribution for what I'm delivering. I guarantee, and come on, man. And that's all I'm saying, man. So let's do things right, man. That's all. Let's do things right. Let's put a clean glass next to a dirty glass. It ain't hard to do what we doing, man. All we got to do is fall in line, man. I promise you. And watch Allah work. We can do this. We can educate our children. We can do this the right way. We can build business. We can build growth. We can build economics. How you gonna build economics with a person that don't even understand economics, that don't even have experience in economics? They just talking a whole bunch of gibberish, a whole bunch of Lucky Charm stuff. That don't make sense to me, Morris. A person that's just like a person that can just teach, but then they can't make nothing happen. When you say, okay, lead, then all the stuff you say and do, let's lead. When it's time to get down, you talk about all these tactics. You know how to do this, and then when it come down to coming down, you scared. So that's what I'm saying, Morris. This is what I'm saying. This is our science, and more science is not no man-made religion. Y'all got to understand this. We are educators. We are American citizens. If somebody tell you anything different, they don't know law. So what if you don't understand that you're an American citizen and a Moorish American, what's your fight all about? Nationality, and if you don't understand that there's two types of citizens, what you talking about? So I want you to think, man. Think. We're going back to something. Think. If you're going back to something, that means what? Think about this. We're not creating something new. We're going back to what the constitutional fold. I'm telling you, man. You got to understand this, and my brothers and sisters that steady call themselves Negro, blacks, and colored, misnomers, and my misnomer Latinos and Mexicans. You got to understand this science, what I'm delivering. This stuff is liberation. So let's get into our Moorish American prayer, and we're going to get into this teaching. You're going to love it because we're going to illuminate these teachings. And I want you to think. Get your pens. So let's get into our Moorish American prayer. And then we're going to rock and roll, baby. Islam? Islam? Islam Empress? Islam ISIS? So our prophet warned all Muslims, governors, ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes or in their streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, my 2 cents Moors, health and wealth. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course, Moors. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement. That's the first thing I'll be asking Moors. Do y'all know what our divine covenant is? If you don't understand what our divine covenant is, you need to go back. Once I got the literature, I'll give it to you. And then when you understand what our divine covenant is, then you will see everybody out of pocket. Because if you were true Moor, it's certain things that all you should be doing if you're not an expertise in the other science. These are facts. If you say you some sheik from the Moorish Science Temple of America, and y'all know I'm telling y'all the truth. We have a divine creed and a covenant, which is like our bylaws. Y'all should know this. The Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing the turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of our prophet Noble Drew Ali. Our Moorish American prayer. Let me get a little bit of my tea. Our Moorish American prayer. 2 on the left, 5 on the right. If you want to stand with your feet out perpendicular, you can. But what I'm trying to tell you, if the vessel is not right, all that outward symbology, which is the exoteric symbology, don't mean poo diddly. I guarantee you, if you don't understand the science, all that outward symbology don't mean nothing. So when a Moor say he's some adept, and when I say, okay, well, adept, let's start bringing the brothers up to connecting themselves to man and God, to the third heaven. Tell them why we don't have to turn to the east in higher science if you understand this adept science. We don't have to turn to the east because the closest place to meet Allah is where, Empress, and where, Isis? In the heart. So why could some man tell you which way to turn on some man-made directions, and we're not lost, and they tell you to turn to the east? So I'm giving you higher science, and if a person don't understand that, you need to study a little bit more and be under the right auspices that can take you to the higher heaven. So this is what Moors got to understand. Negroes get caught up in analogies. Negroes get caught up in outward symbology that don't mean a damn thing. And this is what I'm going to talk about today with the conversation me and my dad was talking about. This is what I be telling y'all, man. A lot of Moors just faking the funk. I can care if you stand with your feet out all day and talk about stand to the east and do all that, and your heart is not right. That stuff don't mean nothing, man. And we are nobles. See, when noble means something. Noble means something. That means character. I mean, it's a certain way that we carry ourselves. This fez, when I say it's turned inside out, represents the Liberty Bell. And then when it's like this, it represents the woman's womb. You got to understand the duality of what I'm talking about. We are noble men. We represent life. We represent liberty. We represent laws and freedom. You got to understand the signs that I'm talking to you about. That's what I'm saying, Moors. So we not operate on, this is not any lower science I'm giving you. This is not no 32 degrees, no European masonry or no Negro masonry. So I want to be clear with these teachings. This is more science, and we got to take all our signs and symbols back. The science is ours. You got to understand your pedigree is Moorish, but this science is Kemetic science. This masonry is ours, man. I done showed you this over and over and over. I done removed the veil over the so-called secret society. I done showed you where this came from. Period. So let's deal with our Moorish American prayer. 2 on the left, 5 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom Aleichem, Ayah Asher Ayah, peace be with you, Hotep, Islam, whatever name, however you give it glory. Allah understands, Yahweh understands. You got to understand that. Don't let nobody get you caught up in a name or a vernacular. Because it was 99 names of Allah, right? If we're talking about the same person. See, this is what we're going to demonstrate today. How you can get caught up in how can I say it, mama?
99 names of Jesus.
My mama crazy, y'all. But hey, look, my mama says 99 names, but Jesus ain't one. I like that. I think I might have to make that a shirt, ma. I got to cut 99. I got 99 names, but Jesus ain't one. Ooh, you snap, ma. But do y'all understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Watch this, y'all. I want you to start thinking. Now think. Now put your thinking caps on for a minute, y'all. Please. Ma. Everybody, think. Just think. And that's what I want us to do before we open our mouth. How can we say everything's fake? And then listen, Negroes go around, they say, oh, they connect their lineage to Egypt, right? Right, Ma? And then they connect all this to these ancient people, right? And so if somebody took your story and put it in a book and gave it to a people that was younger, and they started reading your story, and they say, oh, everything in here fake, huh? So now listen to what I'm saying. So now, if I can show you, when I talk about the story of Genesis and the flood story, this is what I'm telling people. And people say, yeah, these come from all these old stories and all this come from the Egyptian history and all that. What is that telling you? As a person with some logic mind, think about it. if you read a Christian story and the first thing you say, if you're some Egyptologist or some Buddhist, all this, you be like, yeah, it sounds like what? The same stories of your so-called faith, right?
Right.
Think, come on, now watch how I break this science down, right, Morris? And now watch how I'm gonna show you the asinineness, and that's not a cuss word, Empress.
Asinine.
But I put the NESS on it.
Asinine is a word.
Yeah, so it's asinine for any more to use your brain to diss anything, and it don't make sense. And you talking all this, and you say this is you and this you. And I say, okay, then if this is you, what is the modern person doing? All they doing is replacing you with their modernness, and you dissing everything, calling everything fake. And if the Genesis story come from, where did the Genesis story come from? Watch this, y'all. Where did the Genesis story come from, Morris? Watch this. When I tell y'all, yes, a lot of men write things, but everything, remember, what did I tell y'all? What is rat poison? What did I tell y'all rat poison was? 95% poison, 5% food. It's not going to be all poison or the rat to go to it. So if we're going to compare, use your hippocampus. Now we dealing with law. We dealing with logic. No, listen to what I'm saying. Yes, of course that. But what I'm saying is all these stories the same. But okay, I understand that. Too. But where else? When I can show you, it comes from everywhere. All stories. This is what I'm saying. Literature. Yes, one brother said commit. Okay, true. Watch this. True. That's one. What else? Watch this. This is why I be laughing at Negroes. I'm like, man, more science ain't no man-made religion. We understand the essence of it. Yeah, the Kabbalah tree, but the Kabbalah tree is not a religious story. I'm talking about the flood story and the stories. We ain't talking about the Kabbalah tree. So, but I understand what you're saying, Noble. You vibrating. Remember, I'm talking about when the person that diss a story and say something's fake, and I say, okay. So, and I say, okay. I said, if I can get something that's older than this, that's damn near similar, that go with what you're getting from, how you gonna say shit is fake, and then every other religion use the same thing? Yeah. All right, so one of the nobles, okay, looks, Noble Adam Bay, you bubbling, baby. See, I love brothers when they use Samaria. Yeah, we gonna jump in that, but where the story come from? Watch this, Noble, and then we gonna break everything down. Because you gotta remember, it was 16 crucified saviors before so-called Jesus Christ. So where do that story of Gilgal, damn, I done gave it to you. Damn, did you hear what I said, Ma? Everybody didn't catch what I said. I'm looking at it. So where did the story in Genesis, when my Empress, everybody in here cracking up. When we say something want to be fake, and I said we don't research stuff, where do it come from? Where can you prove that the story of the Genesis flood came from? What literature that trumps the Bible? What story? I'm going to show y'all. And then I'm going to show y'all all through dispensations how you can trace stuff. And then if we're going to say it's all fake, if we're going to say this fake, everything fake. And then how we going to say it's all fake? And then how we going to say everything fake when you ain't did the genetic research to see you are the Hebrew, you are the Ebrews genetically, and the European to tell you. When I show you genetic proof in Nigeria, we gonna deal with it. That's right. Right here, nobles. Right here. You see what I'm saying? So when brothers be talking this stuff and that's this and everything, I'm like, man, so where are you tracing yourself to? Because when you start doing the lineage of the people who you're talking about, once you start tracing the ancient language to modern, it's the same people in the same areas. I keep telling you, man, you calling everything fake, and the reason why, because they want you to call everything fake. When you do that, you tracing yourself, you whitewashing yourself out of the history books. You were obligor willingly, because you said it's all fake, right, man? Yeah. So you willingly, obligorically dissing your lineage, huh? Think about it. And watch, I'm gonna break this all down. When you got these brothers talking about, I'm some Egyptologist, another brother, I'm some Buddhist this, I'm some this. I said, okay, if you talk about you some outside religion, all this stuff traced back to some mythology. Moorish science is not mythology. Y'all ain't listening. But you want to diss something and this. I said, man, you dissing the science when I break this esoteric and this exoteric. So that's why I say Moors are clouded with what? religious, connotated, dogmatic, arbitrary connotation of your own, how can I say it, esoteric understanding of things. Because we won't research the history. And you just erase yourself all through history. Willingly. Willingly. Are y'all listening to me? Y'all got Islam Moors? Islam Moors.
Islam.
So you can't get me. I keep telling y'all, if Moors want to believe in all these mystical crap, or my imam this, my sheikh this, man, they lying to y'all. A real sheikh like myself, a real scholar, a real noble is going to teach you the exo and the eso to get you out of that mystic stuff, to get you out of that mysticism, to get you out of that outside body stuff. Moors, this is what y'all think the clock of destiny. What do y'all think I be showing y'all? You get caught up in mumbo jumbo. It's 16 crucified saviors before, man, come on, man. Y'all got to know this. All the stories go back to back to back. So why would you diss something? And when you start doing the genealogy and connecting things, you want to say everything is fake? Come on, man. Everything is not fake. That's the problem. You erasing yourself out the history books. You talk about your ancestors, and then where your ancestors come from, and then where their ancestors came from. You think ain't none of your people wrote no science? This is what I'm telling y'all. I keep telling y'all, get out of y'all lower self. Noble Drew Ali ain't never dissed no biblical scriptures. Noble Drew Ali tell y'all in his ayats, children, your hair is not kinky. It's woolly like your brother Jesus. He telling you what you think the damn Silent Brotherhood is about. Yahshua going through the adapt chamber. I mean, I don't understand it. What is your Moorish Quran, chapter 11, verse, what is it, 43? This Hebrew God is the deity of Allah. You priests of Kaf this too. I don't get some brothers sometimes. So what you dissing? You dissing you. You dissing you. You dissing you. You out here talking about like you some Egyptian and some Jew and some Buddha like y'all different people. Are you crazy? And then when I show you landmass, you got to be crazy. And the reason why most American Negroes is crazy, because when you look at everybody that's under the Buddhism and other dispensations, they Messiah look like them. They Messiah look like them, don't it? Huh, Empress? Huh, Mom? Come on, somebody talk to me. My cash app is $KG Bay. One of my members do it. So think about it. So who the fool? Who the fool, Moors? Just think here about it. We ain't nobody else the fool. Okay, they can believe in their mysticism or their stories or they literature, because they ain't stupid. I'm gonna break it down. But they messiahs look like them. So who the fool? Huh? Think about it. And I break this science down and tell you over and over and over and over what this world was made on. Are we about to dig? And see, this is the asiniteness that me and my dad will be talking about that we coming. I'm like, man, but y'all missing the science. We are a people. This one nationality, many cultures. No one is stripping you of your culture. You got to be crazy. When I show y'all pictures of our prophet in Pan America, when he had the conference, you had all them brothers in their different headdresses. Y'all, I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. We're gonna teach today, man. Because this is the uniting of us. Y'all playing. You playing. You playing. And y'all know it. It's claimed by the disciples of Jesus Christ that he was a supernatural and divine origin. That although he was woman conceived, he was deity begotten and molded in human form, but comprehending in essence a full measure of the infinite Godhead, thus making him half human and half divine in the sublunary origin. See, I can get that psyche when you're using your hippocampus, because a lot of us are born with an aptitude or a particular skill off top, right, Dad? Yeah. So this is what I be telling Negroes. I'm like, y'all got to be stupid. So let's further deal with it. We got to get rid of the magicalness. It's claimed that he was full and perfect Godhead and perfect man. I can see that. Because y'all think it's some person, a perfect Godhead is some damn angel with some stupid ass wing. Damn, another cuss word. With some stupid wings on them. That's two. You see how I'm understanding? And not understanding the prophet and the angel is a man or a woman clothed in the flesh. Huh? And while he was God, he was also the Son of God. and as such was sent down by the Father to save his brothers and sisters with a divine message. If everybody loved Marcus Garvey was a forerunner, a John the Baptist, right? Coming to prepare a table for who? The Messiah in the flesh, to liberate us, the Savior. Y'all, come on, man. So, but let's deal with this. Let's deal with somebody try to give you one-sidedness, and more want to say everything is fake. When I say we are the people of the book, what book? Every book, every book, every book. That's book. The Arab, we are the Arab. The Jew, we are the Jew. The Buddhist, we are the Buddhist. If you don't understand that, if you don't understand science, you got to study some more. Because anybody tell you that got any rational sense, that understand anything about elementary linguistics and geology and genetics, they'll tell you absolutely you are the Arab. Absolutely you are the Jew. Point blank. Absolutely you are the Egyptian. Absolutely. Absolutely, you are the Hebrew, the Israelite. Absolutely. I guarantee you, without a doubt, with a silver tongue. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, Moors? But look, the point, what I'm saying, but we do not find this prophecy has ever been or likely to be fulfilled. We talk about this story of just this one Christ per se. Listen to me. Listen to me. Okay? You got all type of people, millions over the world, that believe in divine revelation. You got a lot of people that believe in this divine character and origin of religion, and reject the pretentious setup for Jesus Christ. Islam, right, man? Come on, talk to me, Morris. Come on, get all that dogma out of you. Because I started dealing with the Nation of Islam, and I'm telling you, I teach a lot of imams. I tell you they paper. They say they believe in the truth of the Bible, but it must be interpreted by his elite because it's been added. Come on, y'all know I'm telling the truth. All that outside stuff is we understand that, but more science is not outside religion. So who's stupid? Think about it. Because I started getting into the science. You can't get mad at me when I break dispensation, and when I break down when Muhammad walks the earth and the Byzantine Empire and who he was rocking with and what women he was around that was influencing him. Come on, man. And then when I break down the Bukhari Hadith and they break down, they talk about your black self and it calls all Muhammad black slaves. And then it talks about your black butt, call you a raisin head. And then you get them religious Islam black Muslims talk about, oh man, oh it's a word of endearment. How the hell is calling you a damn raisin head is a word of endearment? You think that's a word of endearment, man?
Hell no.
I'm in a biblical book, I'm calling you a raisin head. I'm calling you a raisin head. And in the biblical book, I'm naming all my black slaves. Pick up the book and read it. That you might got on your shelf. In the Bukhari Hadith, it talks about your black butt. You ain't got to listen to me, how they rewrite the pen and how they change the pen. So I'm telling you, I'll show you how they change the pen. Because I got the stuff to compare to. So you can't get mad at me. You can't get mad at me. The outside religion, Islam is the same as Christianity when you believe in some pie in the sky. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Do not get mad at me. It's just what it is. Because see, this is adept science. Moors don't believe in that. We understand the essence. We understand what a Messiah is. We understand if it's a creation, it got to be a creator. And that's where we let the chips fall. Come on, man. Come on, man. See, that the Christian, the religious people, they admit both a God and a Savior, but don't accept Jesus or Yeshua. Acts 24:5. When I tell you, this pestilent brother is a ringleader of the Nazarenes. See where the Nazarene at. See what people is Nazarenes, y'all. Think about it. And then you will stop dissing stuff. You're going to let somebody just keep up with your religion and replace you. Then they admit a Messiah, but not the Messiah. These nations contend that this the title, this misplaced, which makes the man Christ Jesus per se, the Savior of the world. And then they claim to have been honored with the birth of the true Savior among them, and defend this claim upon the ground of what? Priority of date. But we can destroy all that from scholarship. Just follow the science. Messiahs were long prior to that, to the Christians. Come on, man. Listen, let me break some science down. When I talk about Orisha and Santeria, what do you think we were praying to, and what do you think we were doing then? Praying to our what, Ma? Our saints. The same way we had our messiahs. We just call it Santeria and Orisha. We had our ancestors. See, a lot of this stuff is oral tradition passed down. They couldn't get it right. I'm telling you, man, because when I start showing you dates and things, you can start finding things. And I'm telling you, historically, through archaeology. But see, most Negroes ain't dealing with the science. They just dealing with man belief. And then you losing yourself in history. Y'all ain't listening to me. And the circumstance of this claim, you know, talk about it's only one and this is that. When you got the Oriental and the ancient religions, as is conceded by the Christians themselves, the origin of the former of this indicate and foreshadow as being an outgrowth form, if not plagiarism, upon the latter, or a borrowed copy. Just like when you can see that Genesis, that flood story. Research the story of Gilgamesh. Research it. And it's strikingly the same in the Bible. And then when you start researching dates, you be like, okay, well, if this Gilgamesh story, and a lot of these dates can be proven when you start doing the archaeology, and then you see who the people are, you see why they try to whitewash you out of history. Y'all ain't connecting. Y'all ain't connecting. Y'all ain't collecting. You let somebody else tell you your story. They want to tell you everything is some pagan. All this stuff that we talking about, man, it's not new. This Christendom proclaimed Jesus Christ the only Son and sent of God. How that don't even make sense. And if Messiah is clothed in the flesh that comes from amongst your people, how can somebody come that's going to say they're going to liberate you, and they say a Messiah talking Arabic and you don't even speak Arabic? I'm just using that as an analogy. That's not your Messiah. You know what they got to be first, Ma? They got to be in linguistic to teach you the language or the words that's coming out their mouth before you can believe anything. That's why I'm telling you this teaching is ours before some, no disrespect, before some European brought some, how can I say it, fiction book. And we already was following the Hebrewic laws based on our foremothers and forefathers. I'm going to break this science down, man. You can't refute what I'm giving you. It's just what it is. The 20 Jesus Christ, accepting their character of the name, laid the foundation for the salvation of the world. And you're going to let somebody tell you that the great God, the creator, just going to make one person, that's going to be it. Just like Moorish, our prophet Noble Ali was a prophet and an angel clothed in the flesh. He ain't the only one. You have brothers before him. When I talk about Deuce Muhammad, Abdul Hamid Solomon, the Black Hitler of Harlem. Come on, man. Don't get caught up in no man-made science. Get caught up with the science. Get caught up in the heart. You got all these different messiahs of God according to history or tradition, having in the past descended from heaven, taking upon themselves the form of men, clothing themselves with human flesh, furnishing evidence of so-called divine origin by various miracles, marvelous works, right? All these splendid virtues, right? Right, y'all? And finally, Moors. You got these 20 so-called Jesus Christ accepting their character of the name. That's right. That's what I keep telling Moors. They got to read Brother Rashidi. I'll break it all down. I show them. And that's why I be saying they always talk. And I said a slave just regurgitate. Just like in the Quran, a person going out doing all that praying, that was for the slave. I'm telling you, if you understand Allah man as one, that was for your time to relax. I'm telling you, man, if y'all don't understand that, you missing the teachings. Because the true Sufis, they taught both the Eso and the Exo. So we can understand that God and man is one. And if you don't understand that, that's true shirk. That's how I know most Moors don't read Empress or Noble. Real talk. This is how I know. This is how I know, especially when I talk about our Moorish Salat, and I say, man, you're doing a whole bunch of Arab stuff. And I say, show me in the Quran where that's law. You can't. I can show you where that missed tradition. I don't give a damn about no tradition. I'm a Moor. I do things the Moorish way. The way what my teachings say. That's how. Y'all ain't listening. I'm a Moorish American. This ain't no Islam, Muslim teachings. That's why I don't diss nothing. We obey all the laws and the prophet. We scientists, and we deal with nationality and law. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. We ain't operating on no man-made religion, nothing that we can't prove. That don't even make sense. How are we gonna operate on something we don't? How are we gonna operate on something that we can't prove? That's garbage. That's a big lie. We scientists. Watch this. Let me tell you how science liberates. And let me tell you theory. Here, oh, I saw you do it. I saw you do it. Okay, then they come down to court. They put a whole lineup in it. Okay, well, I don't know. Bam, you picked the wrong person. Oh, but I thought you did it. But I thought you said you saw this person, they did it. Well, I thought I did. No. Boom, and watch this. Then the science or the DNA actually proved that this person that you accused of wasn't even around. So the science trumped the theory of what you thought. Y'all ain't listening? Yeah. Islam? Talk to me, man. Talk to me, Islam. Thank you for the donation. So when we go back to this accepting the character of the name and laid the foundation for the salvation of the world and then send it back to heaven, you got all these different manifestations. Adada of Assyria, Adonis, son of the virgin Lo of Greece, Alcides of Thebes, Atheus of Pygia, Baal and Taut, the only begotten son of the Phoenician, Bali of Afghanistan, Bedaru of Japan, Buddha Saki of India. You know? Cadamus of Greece, Crete of Chaldea. But you got to understand, a lot of the ancient teachings, if your parents are Sufis, they know this teaching what I'm saying. A lot of people, they took oath just like European masonry and won't teach it. And they just teach you the esoteric. But we giving the eso. We gonna tread, baby. That's why I said I know imams, and they have to bow down to the science, not disrespectfully, but you can't disrespect the law. Devatat and Samakadium of Sema, divine teacher of Plato, Fui and Teen of China. That's just a small aspect of it. Lulis, Zul, also Osiris and Horus of Egypt. I skipped down to a few. All of them were incarnated and born of a woman. The mother in each case was a holy virgin. The father of each was a carpenter. Birth were of royal descent. Each had the title of savior. They all were without sin. Both were crucified. Both were crucified between two thieves. Research it. Each taught of a great and final day of judgment. Think about it, right? And here are the small list of writers that lived during the so-called times of Jesus, aside from 2 forged passages in the work of a Jewish author and 2 dispute passages in the work of the Roman writers. Is to be found no mention of Jesus Christ in the mass of the Jewish and pagan writers. Are y'all listening to me? Of that perspective, I'm telling you, it never was. We gonna teach, man. You got all these writers. Apollonius, Apinian, Ephraim, Alice, and Gilius, Camulia, Epitus, Damas, Dioscyrus, Dion Pruris, Favorus, Florus Susius, Justice of Theories. These are a lot of writers that wrote in those times of so-called Jesus. Man, I got so many writers. You get caught up in the image. Imagine that an event so important in history. Listen to this, Mom. Listen to this, Empress of Isis. Imagine that an event so important in history, y'all, as well-being of man, not being recorded by a single writer of the time that we talking about. Yep. Do that make any sense to you?
And that was always my question.
Now watch this. I can go back in those times and give you all pictures of showing us that we Moors with our headdresses on. Yep. And show you that we the people of the book, and I can show you in the Bible that the followers of Yahshua wore they turbans and they turbans and they bonnets with the jewels on them, and we wore a certain clothing. And Jerusalem and Egypt was right by each other. And when you look in the hieroglyph, these Negroes call themselves some Egyptologists. You can see that in the hieroglyph you had a Hebrew pharaohs in the hieroglyph. Y'all tripping. Is it likened to man landing on the moon and walking on it for the first time in the history of man? and have not a single person write about it during the time it occurred? Think about this. This is what I want y'all to think, and y'all want to follow this garbage. This science, this liberating. Once we deal with the history, which is law, then we deal with correcting ourselves legally and lawfully. It was world 16 crucified saviors. And y'all dealing with this mystic, this magical stuff these so-called sheiks getting y'all caught up in. I said they're not teaching y'all, they're getting you caught up in religion. In Moorish science, we are gods. I teach you the esoteric. And then some need to admit when they limit it. And then a lot of more that's under temples, you need to admit when you limit it. And you got to come from out of that. If you don't come from out of that, you the fool. Because you're going to be blocked in a minute. It's just what it is. We don't have time to be playing around. So what I'm trying to show y'all more is this higher science when Negroes want to diss books, when Negroes want to diss the science. When I can break that down and I can show y'all proven, I can show y'all through the Bible that the so-called black man, that the Asiatic man is the father of civilization, proved by the Bible. And I can show you how Europeans, Albions wrote about this all through history, and you're going to diss something. And I say, you got to be crazy. That's like suicide. That's like suicide. And that's how I know Negroes are not enlightened. When you won't even take the time to research to do any scholastic studies, and then you will start dissing something out like you can't be a Moor. And our prophet says that we from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. When we talk about Ruth the Moabitess, how can you diss something? Think about it, man. So who the fool? Think about it. And so what I'm going to show you is this deeper science. I told you, I gave you the the exo. I'm going to give you some esoteric science. Because we're going to explain the both. And I'm going to give you the deeper meanings. And if your sheik isn't an adept, he's supposed to know this. Because more science connecting God and man is one. That's the ayah asha ayah. I will be what I will to be. I'm going to give you all the truth hidden behind the surface of the statements and the events. And for anyone to take the series as evidence that the Bible, what I'm telling you, is fiction, stay in the context of what I'm telling you, has completely misunderstood the information that I'm giving you. Listen what I'm telling you, man. It is archaeological evidence that provides proof of people in the Bible actually live, and events throughout the Bible actually took place. If you relax a little bit, I promise you this. But who are those people? And see, this is the thing. Who are those people? It talks about the Egyptian, it talks about the Phoenician, it talks about the Kosar. Or you think everything fake, but then you're going to say this is you. But then when they're talking about you in the book, you're going to say, oh, well, it's fake. Huh? That don't even make sense. You wearing all these necklaces with the continent of Africa and the Kebalan, and when they talk about the continent of Africa and the Kebalan in your history and your story and your history, it's fake. So someone took your history and your law and took it as their religion and whitewashed you out the history books and got you Negroes arguing like y'all all different people. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? That's why I said I'm a divine minister. I love all holy books. I break them down. Every one. Just like I tell y'all the Book of Mormon. I'm telling y'all, okay, you read the Book of Mormon. You think everything in there fake? No. The European, Joseph Smith, the Albion, when we tell you where he got that book, all that science out of there. The View of the Hebrews, word for word. Word for word. No disrespect. Let me tell you what one of my European Jewish professors told me. And of course I started figuring out, as I started proving all that stuff is pseudo. The only thing the Albion, the European, is good for is whitewashing themselves in the history books. This out of his mouth. And I'm telling you this from scholarship. Now, you can get all in your feelings emotionally if you want to, but that's scholarship. And I don't care what color you are. You know I'm telling you the truth. Because we can debunk all that pseudo history, all that stuff about some Bible, some white man. We can destroy all that. We can destroy all that. We know it historically. I can show you who the American is historically. I'll walk you through the doctrine of discovery, show you all this stuff historically, have you lawyer yourself. And then you got all these Negroes talk about they some Islam Muslims. I'll show you that Arab slave trade. You talk about some damn transatlantic slave trade, and I'll show you that those Arabic or those pale Arabic speakers call themselves Arabs. They had the Arab slave trade before some transatlantic slave trade. So if you want to be mad at a so-called European or Albion, why you ain't mad at everybody that was stepping on your damn neck? You so friendly. You see? You want to pick and choose. Y'all ain't listening. So don't get mad at me. You always following somebody's teachings. I know Moors dyeing their beard red. You hear me, ISIS? I'm like, what's that? What type of foreign stuff you doing? And our prophet told us to do what? Number one, Moors, be yourself. He told us Moors to be ourselves. If we're going to follow to some teachings in the biblical scriptures, who we are, the followers of Yahshua, they wore the beards. So if we're going to do some things, and the Egyptians, they shaved their face. So it really don't matter. But we following foreign things, doing things that don't have nothing to do with us. So I'm going to talk about some of the hidden truth. What's hidden? When I'm going to decipher a lot of symbolism to what we talking about. When people be talking about Antichrist and all this crazy stuff. When they take things literally. When they talk about this as a matter of fact. And it becomes accepted mainstream theology. And all other views are deemed heretical. And the so-called Christian religious Negroes, Islam Muslims, all that. They do this. They are either remaining in their left brain dominance. Follow me, because I told y'all these scriptures is all about the brain. It's all about the lower and the higher self. Are you following me, ISIS? Follow what I'm telling y'all, Moors. Listen to this esoteric teaching I'm giving you. And then you will relax and be like, man, everybody lying to you. Everybody should want to be a part of what we're doing. So, or if you're in the left brain dominance, or you are in a constant struggle between the left brain and the right brain, what are we comparing that to? Lower and higher self, right? With the left brain winning much of the battle. And just as every other book in the Bible, it holds hidden meanings. And so does the book of Revelation. Yeah, we understand when people read Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 9. Yeah, the Jews in Jerusalem are not the real Jews. They from the synagogue and say, yeah, we get all that. We get all that. I hear all that. But that's exoteric. We get all that. But let's deal with the both teachings so we can understand who we are and what we dealing with our bodies and we perfecting ourselves. See, Revelations explains the struggle that happens within each of us, both physically and spiritually, as our inner Christ Moors rises to the pineal gland. The left brain wants to remain dominant, and therefore Moors will continue to attempt to stop us from achieving the right brain dominance. Y'all listening to me? That's when I'll be talking about Akashic records, when you understand your mission on this earth. And you start covenant with brothers. We start building. Only until that crystallized, that's only when it'll happen. I'm just a spark. See, watch this. Watch this, y'all. Let me get a sip of my libations. Think about this. I hope y'all got y'all pens. The 7 churches are representative of our attitude in the corresponding chakra. And if we're not careful, Moors, the spiritual wisdom or enlightenment obtained through the chakra will be overcome by the feelings of the left brain. And if that left brain thought process, Moors, if it take over our actions through the obtained enlightenment, what happens is doom. And what happens is we lose it and have to begin the process over and over again. Why would you want to do something over and over again? You want your light to always be bright. See, the loss of this enlightenment, Moors, is symbolized by the candlestick being removed from the church. Are y'all following the symbology? I'm giving y'all esoteric teachings. See, the 7 seals represents the 7 chakras, Moors. And the book of life that contains the 7 seals on the backside is us, Moors. See, we are the book of life, Moors. And the chakras rise through the spinal column, which is located in the middle of our backs. And these chakras are sealed in the sense that certain activities, Moors, must take place in order to unseal and activate the chakra and move unto the next level. Islam? I hope y'all following this. See, it's more than just talking about chakras and wearing my chakra medallion. It's more than that. It's more than that. How do you get it unknot and keep it open? See, this is the thing. If you never had breath before and you start breathing, you don't want nobody to take it. You want to know how to continue breathing, right? Come on, Moors. And this is worth more than gold, more than money. This is what I'm telling Moors. Every Moor, we should be huge already. And it's stated noon or none in earth, physical or heaven. Spirit can open the seal except for the Christ. And this is because, Moors, either side of us alone cannot activate the chakras. Think about it. Think about this science I'm giving y'all. See, we need our inner Christ to rise to each chakra and activate it before moving on to the next. You see that? And the end result is our lower self when it unites with our higher spiritual self and become one with ourself through our inner Christ. See, the happening in Revelations chapter 6 and 7, Moors, it describes the war that takes place in us as our left brain tries to hold on to the dominance as we become more enlightened and move into the right brain dominance. And the earth is symbolic of our body and those stated as escaping the great tribulation, Moors, and have washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb are symbolic of those who achieved enlightenment and full activation of this pineal gland. You got to understand the analogy and the parable and the symbology. Didn't the scripture say don't take these words literally? It's parables. Think about what I'm telling you, man. The pineal gland is free-flowing in the pool of blood in the brain. So to be washed with the blood of Christ is our inner Christ rising to an activating that pineal gland. Islam? And see, the beast who rules during the great tribulation, Moors, is the left brain. Our physical or our carnal cells, our animalistic instincts, is not going to surrender to our higher selves easily or willingly, Moors. Because you know what you like. You know what you like. See, our left brain is going to go into overdrive, trying to cast fear and confusion over us when you trying to eat right. And when I'm working you out, when I'm telling Moors, follow these teachings that I'm giving you every day, mind, body, and spirit. When I'm showing you how to save money, when you see us working out every day, my empress working out every day, my cousin working out every day, changing our bodies, getting you used to do something. How you gonna perfect something and correct something and you're not used to correcting something or perfecting nothing? How you gonna become one and you're not practicing oneness? It's not just gonna happen. Or you think you're just gonna get it just by listening to me? There's no reason for you to be big and fat and sloppy unless you have a medical condition. Then that's understandable. So stop hating on people that's in good shape. Stop hating on people that got their lives together. Stop hating on people that's in Moorish unions and you there flabby and sick and you just sitting there like a bump on the law, but you got a fez on. That ain't Moorish. That ain't Moorish. In Revelations 10, the mighty angel that roared is a lion, and that is our higher self. And we need to cry with a loud voice to overshadow the voices of the left brain. And the inner Christ cries out, Moors, with a loud voice to dominate the left brain and get our 7 chakras, Moors, to function in unity or harmony or synchronicity. And the 7 thunders are symbolic of what? The chakras. I told y'all I can relate everything to our body. The turmoil experienced by those who worship the beast is symbolic of what happens to us as we fall out of the enlightenment. See, the higher we rise our inner Christ, the more enlightenment we have, until we finally achieve activation of the pineal gland. And see, more, this activation and receiving full enlightenment is what is referenced by the new earth and the new heavens. Y'all ain't listening. See, the Christ reign forever and ever. And once our inner Christ activates this pineal gland, we are in the new earth and the new heavens. Are y'all listening to this science? We don't need to remember things because we just know them. And at the level of enlightenment, Moors, the left brain is conquered. And through this process, Moors, we change physically and spiritually. And those who worship the beast are those fall victim to their own doubts created by the left brain. And their own fear and confusion takes a hold, Moors, and they begin to fall. And the inner Christ begins to descend back down, as opposed to continuing to ascend to the pineal gland. Just as our bodies change physically during the ascension, during the healing itself, and becoming healthier and stronger, it also changes during descension, when it's falling back into the previous ailment, which it had before the ascension. And 1,000 years reign of the so-called Jesus, Moors, is the brief amount of time we are completely right brain dominant. Are y'all listening? Satan being let loose for a short while, Moors, is symbolic of the left brain attempting to regain dominance by casting doubts and confusion in our thoughts. And those who are strong-willed and able to conquer these thoughts, Moors, these doubts, this fear, this confusion by the left brain, are those who achieve the new earth and the new heaven. Y'all follow me? I mean, Moors, talk to me, Moors. Talk to me, Moors. We can't get out of the true teachings of just scholarship, Moors, and understanding who we are in teachings. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it, Moors. Think about that before we go to the next one. Because I'm just looking at something. I just want us to relax. Think about it, because I'm going to wrap this up fast. It's similar stories. Things come from a place. We talk about the book of Genesis, the flood story. I told y'all it mirrors the epic of Gilgamesh from hundreds of years earlier. Right? I told you how it breaks it all down. That Jesus story comes from all old stories. Achelophius healed the sick. Hercules was born of a divine father and mortal mother. Dionysus was literally the son of God. Osiris did the same thing. Osiris' son Horus was known as the light of the world. Mithra, birthday was celebrated on the 25th of December. Krishna had a miraculous conception. The wise men were able to come to because they were guided by a star. Buddha's mother was told by an angel that she'd give birth to her holy child, destined to be a savior. Apollonius of Tyana, contemporary of Jesus, performed countless miracles. It's a lot of contradictions. The Noah's Ark story, the angels. But now, what I want y'all to understand, if the Bible's speaking of these things, where it come from? That's what I want you to start researching. And then when you see where these stories come from, when you start looking at the people, you will start being like, wait a minute. You will start seeing things. And then I also go back to showing you how in the book of Maccabees, they put stuff in your face, how they try to say you were hidden. They try to whitewash you out the history books. And I show you one of my old books, Russia Icona by Vladimir Ivanov. It breaks all this science down, what I'm talking about. Right? Right, Morris? Talk to me. Talk to me. This is what I want to show y'all, man. This is what I want to show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all this, how we are the people of the book. We are the people of the book. We are the people of the book. I'm gonna show y'all all this science. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of more esoteric teachings. And like I said, because I told my Empress I wasn't gonna be too long. I'm gonna show you a picture first, and then I'm gonna teach. When I say we all, everybody, when I show y'all Master Farah Muhammad, if you don't want to believe who that is, oh well. Under the alias David Ford, picture in the left-hand corner. There are many Masons. Listen to me. There are many Masons shown in this picture. The development of the MSTA saw the influence of many high-degree black Masons, or black Shriners, Masons, and secret societies. The ancient Egyptian Arabic order of the nobles and the mystic shrine by Noble Ali Rofel Pasha and John George Jones in 1893. And then I show you my other book called The Chosen People with Wentworth Matthew and them. And they are the Moorish Zionist Jews. And I show you how the brothers got the fez on with their stoles on too. So you got all them brothers coming together. And our prophet was showing y'all this, all of us. And I'm going to show you pictures first before I finish this teaching of all of us coming together. You look at the brother with his Egyptian headdress. You look at the brothers with the feathers on. You look at all brothers with their headdresses on. The uniting of Asia. Look at this. And then we can't come together. You got all these Negroes got y'all set tripping. And I'm telling y'all, the Egyptian, the Hebrew, the Israelite, all that. We all the same. This is the uniting of Asia. Man, this is monotheism. Ain't nobody going against these teachings. We understand that God and man is one. We get this. But we have a liberator. Come on, man. You cannot diss nothing, man. That's proven. I'm showing you, man, we got to come together. All that set tripping on some religion, that's garbage. If them brothers can do that back then, and we call ourselves smart and logical, why are we wasting our time? Why are we dissing our Kemetic science? Why are we dissing our masonry? Or Negroes just want to dress up like they know something and don't know no damn science? You know what I mean? So when I talk about the brain, the Bible talks, all that Bible talking about is the brain, the body, the left brain. You got to understand this. We could talk about the outside meaning. We all that 12 triad. Okay, I hear you. But if you understand, if you an interpreter of scriptures, just like the Islam believe, they believe in the truth of the Bible, but it must be interpreted by the elite because it's been tampered with. Who's the elite? Somebody outside yourself? I'm interpreting it for you. And they can't refute what I'm telling you. 2 Corinthians 3:6. The scriptures should not be read literally. Matthew 13 and 34. It says that Jesus, which is Yahshua, never spoke unless it was in parable. Right? Right, y'all? All you got to do is research it. Islam. Somebody talk to me. Somebody talk to me before you can get all out your feathers. So when I'm telling you don't understand, these Negroes taking everything literally. Right, y'all? Then it says Jesus never spoke unless it was in parables. So the first thing, you need to know what a parable is. Now watch us teach. He said people who took the word literally were like those who look but could not see. Dang. Do you hear that? He said those who took and looked at these scriptures literally was like those who looked but could not see. You can't see why? Because your pineal gland is closed. That's right. They are the same matter. What y'all think I be? Now, what Malik? Malik? You bubbling. You bubbling, baby. You say when you talk about it look like your chakra, because what you think when I be talking about the cell salts? What you think I'll be talking about spirulina? When I be talking about the cell salts pertaining to your chakras? Research the lecture I did. Research the lecture I did. The cell salts pertaining to the zodiac, to your zodiac sign. Everything is about your body and how perfected. The earth heal you. I keep talking about what's your arcana. You bubbling, baby. You bubbling. That's why I said we don't. All this stuff is about connecting yourself to man, to God, and to the earth. This is holistic. It's certain things that we can do to perfect our machine. That's the ish of being a Moor. Don't let nobody always get you caught up with the negative connotation, talking about ish is similar to but not original. Yeah, that's in your lower self. But what a positive aspect. The positive aspect of ish is what? All the stuff about us. The way we live, the way we eat, the way we train, the way we study. That's why we are more ish. Are y'all listening to me? Stop taking the lower perspective and the negative side of some goofball. He spoke in parables, and he said people who took the words literally were like those who look but cannot see. Wait till I tell you all about this other earthly herbs I'm using. It's like metals. Once I give you some more research on it, I'll tell you about it. But all this stuff is natural, and it's the stuff they hide away from y'all forever. And they be doing this stuff overseas. That's why the Chinese and the Tibetans, they live forever. They've been doing it forever. And man, this stuff been available forever. But they want to give you some pill. They want to give you some damn pill. And I'm just saying for me, I'm just saying for myself, to get you hooked on some stupid drug. And I can tell you all the stuff that I take is natural. From the spirulina that I take, I tell people in the northern area, if you're not getting enough vitamin D, you need spirulina. When I talk about the cell salts, natural. You can talk to your doctor. And when I talk about this silver intake, too much of anything is bad for you. But a little bit of everything, when you mix the right concoction, baby, that's life. Oh, why ain't life and some damn medicine gonna work, huh? Why? So you gonna believe in just, it's a such thing as a magical pill, huh? And when you travel foreign and abroad, you see all them people that ain't been to a damn doctor a day in their life. These people 90 years old, 120 years old doing Tai Chi. Sitting with one leg down. And these Negroes, 35 years old, talk about they got diabetes and high blood pressure. Why? Because what you putting in your mouth and what you drinking. Point blank. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, man. Empress, am I telling the truth, Empress? Then in the scriptures he said, he spoke in parables, and he said, those who took his words literally was those who looked but could not see. And modern believers, a lot of so-called Moors, they read the Bible, the Quran, literally with their over-exact left brains, and they missing the whole point. And the reason the so-called Jesus cast nets to the right side, listen to me. The reason Jesus cast nets to the right side, watch the science. It sits on the right side of God and builds the door to the temple of the right side. Watch this. It's because he is leading these teachings. Our inner self is leading us out of the lower brains and into our holistic, symbolic, higher brain on the right. See, I'm going to break everything down to Israel. Watch this. The ISS, thanks for the donation. The ISS-RAEL, the shirts that I wear, that we made when I wear the Israel shirts, and people don't be knowing the symbology. I'm like, man, you missing it. Because you caught up in mythology. You caught up in Egyptology, the story. I'm going to break the esotericness down. I get the exo. All modern man know the exoteric. I'm giving you the eso. Watch this. Israel. Keep that in your mind. I'm going to show you how they created a certain thing. In this context, what I'm saying. The Isis, the Ra, the El. Those three Egyptian gods. Y'all hear me? That's how they create that in the Bible, that perspective. Because you know Israel wasn't a country. They took that from the Asiatic Moors. I'll show y'all that picture. In my chosen people. Well, we have the American flag and the so-called Star of David. We had that. I showed y'all that plenty times. Look at the book, The Chosen People. You can get it from me. And I'll show you in the background. When we stand in the Moorish Zionist temple, look in the background and see what flag we got. That was in the 1920s, before so-called Israel was created a state. These is facts. These is facts. That's why I'm telling you our laws trump everything. And y'all following garbage and should be under something that's righteous. But let's finish. Watch this. This is what the exodus of slaves out of the lower Egypt is all about. A manual for spiritual enlightenment, and not a literal slave revolt. Stay in the context. There is no history of no 600,000 slaves leaving Egypt for Israel, because it never happened. And Israel was never used to be an actual place. I just told y'all Israel wasn't no actual place. Israel wasn't created a state, a country until what? 1948. Look at the science. I get the book right there. I'll show y'all The Chosen Ones. With Wentworth Matthew and them. They stand in the Zionist temple of the Moorish Zionist Jews. You look in the background, they got the American flag and the so-called 6-point star, the so-called Star of David on their flag. This is our science. It was just 3 names of gods. It was Isis, Ra, and Elohim. I'm telling you, shortened to Israel. Are y'all listening? Are y'all listening to this science? I'm giving you adapt science. See, this is what these lion sheets can't tell you, because they're not adepts. And I'm only giving you elementary wisdom. I ain't even took you to the third heaven. The third heaven will blow your mind. You would be ready to come out of heaven if I take you to the third heaven. You wouldn't understand it. I guarantee you, because some people go in the third heaven and they lose their mind. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you real science. The real promised land Moses spoke of existed between where? Your ears. Acts 7 and 4 and 8. Watch this. What do Acts 7 and 4 and 8? Somebody better get that. Acts chapter 7 verse 4 and 8. The Most High dwelt not in temples made with hands. When I talk, what y'all think I be saying when I be using analogies? The tabernacle built without hands. What you think I'm talking about? The only temples not built by human hands are the 2 temples beyond your ears and your eyes. In front of your ears. I said in 1 Corinthians 3 and 16, know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelt in you. The Spirit of God dwelt in you. Y'all ain't listening. Man, the Holy Spirit should be all over you right now. The Holy Spirit should be all over you right now. We'll give our way in the strip club to them girls shaking their booties in our face. Within their lower self, we're like, ooh, she's snapping. When you get this, you should give a donation. You know I'm gonna be silly. You know I'm gonna be honest. I'm giving you something to think about. If we'll get money and go with our boys and dress up and get dressed up to go in the strip clubs in our lower self and just give our money away with girls shaking their booty. If I'm here to enlighten you and you telling me you don't like this, you won't give a $5 donation? And we in our higher self now? Thanks for the donation. But we in our higher self now. Think about it. And we'll just sit on it like a bump in the log. But we'll sit in the strip club, get dressed up, spend our money, and go and give our money away in our lower self. But we're in our higher self now. You see? In Matthew 6 and 22, what it says. In Matthew 6, 22, what it says, y'all? The lamp of the body is what? The lamp of the body is what? Isis, can you give me some water, please? Come on, somebody. Y'all got it. Come on. Yeah, this is for all the Negroes that's dissing something. Watch this, Isis. Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. This is what it says. Jesus, which is Yahshua, it says, the lamb of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, what single eye? Your face, that what? That chakra. If the eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. Here go my cup right here. The whole body should be full of light. Huh? Are y'all missing this esoteric teachings? Genesis 32 and 30. It states, Jacob called the place Peniel. You hear that, Dad? Did you hear that, y'all followers? Are y'all listening to me? You hear what I said, Isis? Genesis chapter 32 and 30. What it says, y'all? Jacob called this place Peniel. P-E-N-I-E-L. So, I mean, come on, spell it out. In modern, it's spelled P-I-N-E-A-L, Peniel. He's saying this because I saw God face to face. In other words, Jesus, which is Yahshua, and Jacob are referring to what? Thank you. It's referring to what? The pineal gland. The pineal gland, the third eye, the meditation point, which lies at the geometric center of what? Our brains. Are y'all rocking with what I'm telling y'all? Are you following these teachings? And we won't give a donation to these teachers. More is lost. So when you slow your brain wave through meditation, through breathing, through the spiritual Moorish yoga, the sensory, the deprivation, or the other methods, you're usually overactive with that left brain. It eases off and allows access to the higher, the holistic right brain, and through the pineal gland Moors, which the Bible calls the dwelling place of God. And in what? It's called the what? The seat of the soul. All these signs and symbols. When I show you all the signs and symbols, man, an adept, a sheik, he got to be able to break down the signs and symbols, or he's not a sheik. He's a liar and a fraud. Many so-called Moors and sheiks and so-called Christians, Islam, Muslim, that diss things. They insist that things like meditation and mantras are evil and open you up to demons. That's garbage. If you a demon, you a damn demon. But in reality, they keeping you disconnected. Meditation is just sitting still and doing nothing, a certain posture. And those God created plants grow that way. How? By breathing, by doing nothing. The energetic. Think about that. When I talk about energetic, those energetic plants, what they do, they just grow that way. So if sitting still, doing nothing for a while, every day is so negative, Moors, why doesn't it have so many negative, or why does it have so many positive? For your physical and your mental and your emotional and spiritual benefits. When you kids are hyper and you doing something, what they tell you to do? Calm down. Don't they, ISIS? Don't they tell you when you hyperventilating? What they tell you to do? Relax. Take some deep breaths. You see, you let people getting you caught up from the simplicity of understanding who you are. And if the NO genes are so negative, why do they also have so many positive things for you? When we talk about that physical and that mental and that emotional and those spiritual benefits, that's meditating, all that does for you. See, these people locked in their left brain, literal thinking. They literal thinkers. That's it. And they see anything that helps stimulate their right brain lateral. Thanks for the donation. Thinking that's against their rigid beliefs. Watch this, y'all. Watch how I'm just breaking all this esoteric teaching down to the Bible. These are your books. Romans 2:29. It says, he is a Jew. Who is a Jew? He is a Jew, right? Don't it say that, ISIS? What I be showing you, I showed y'all who the Igbos and the Ebos are genetically by the book. And I show you all the stoves. Come on, man. But you're going to say everything fake. One nationality, many cultures, man. I can trace us through the history. I can trace us all through the history, man. When one of my nobles was on here, and I pulled out one of the books that he said she did her dissertation on Olauda, Olauda, Equano, Equiano, and Igbo, and a former slave who lived in London, and she didn't know that all that story was talking about he was an Igbo. All that story, she missed all that science. I'm telling you. I promise you, man. So, let's deal with it. Romans 2:29 says, he is a Jew who is one inwardly. Did y'all hear what I just said? Romans 2:29 says, he is a Jew who is one inwardly. Inwardly. And circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit and not in the letter. It doesn't get any clearer than this, Moors. Man, I can show you the cloth on Solomon's temple, what it's all about. It's kente. See, I love women. See, ooh, you bubbling, Noble. Hey, hold on, wait, let me go. Hey, Alimento Shadi. See, I got to start right there because now I got to teach on that. And the tablecloth in Solomon's temple is kente. You damn right, Noble. Moors be missing this stuff. They be missing it, Noble. They be missing it. I taught on that. I had one of my European Jewish professor. He was trembling. He said, "You're absolutely right, Noble." I said, "I know. You ain't got to tell me. You ain't got to tell me." Moors be missing it, thinking everything fake. Thinking everything fake. Y'all don't even know what's under Solomon's temple. They don't even know what's built under Solomon's temple. Don't y'all know it's a mosque under Solomon's temple? Y'all missing it, but y'all want to get caught up in mystery and all spookism. I promise you. I did a whole lecture on that kente cloth, and the European did a whole lecture on it too. But we're going to let them tell us something, and like our own brothers and sisters ain't been telling this. These are our oral teachings. If you're an adept, you should know this. You should know this. If you some sheik. But Islam, Noble, to that fact, to that biblical fact, to that biblical fact, and them Negroes be jumping right over stuff. And I'm like, it's right in your face. I'm like, how you going to diss something that's you? You got to take your stuff back. The Bible is saying circumcision of the heart, not the penis. So to focus on the spirit, the symbolic, not the letter, the literal. And the Jews are anyone who is inwardly focused. Those who seek God within. The meditators, the prayers, not a race or religion. In that aspect, Moors, that when they try to lie to you. But when we talk about genetically who the Jews is, we know who we are, the people of the book. That's when we correct the teachings. When they can try to throw you off the breadcrumbs like, no, baby. Don't try to get in no fake stuff, because I can deal with the esoteric and the exo. I'm giving you the eso and the exo at the same time. I'm showing you how we can relay these teachings to our mind. But when somebody want to say something all fake, no, man, you know the Jews and the Egyptians and the Hebrews and the Phoenicians, you know them, the people of the book. You know this. Don't play. Don't play. Don't play. So, these secrets of meditation were well known to many ancient civilizations. Watch how we break this down. The world over, including Indian, the yogis and the sadhis, who integrated meditation yoga and spiritual symbology into their holy scriptures. The Atlantean mythos, one of the oldest known religion stories, encodes this ancient spiritual knowledge of the Kundalini yoga. Y'all know that, right? And from instance, in the Athenian myth, Atlas, the king of Atlantis, held up the entire world upon his shoulders, right? Watch the science. He had 7 daughters, right? The Hesperides, who spent their days dancing around the tree of life, right? Coiled around the tree and guarded its golden apples of immortality, lived Latin, the serpent. Watch this. The kingdom of Atlantis was shaped as 3 what? Concentric circles of land, separated by 2 what? Concentric circles of water, with the temple of what? Poseidon, residing in the very center, where the sacred bulls roamed. They roamed around freely, and sacrificial bull's blood was poured over the exterior of the temple. Watch this. So the actual medical term for the top 33rd vertebrae of the spine, which holds your skull, is called what? What is it called? What is it called? Watch this. Watch, I'm breaking this science down. This is so simple. Did y'all hear what I said? The actual medical term for the top 33rd vertebrae of the spine, which holds up your skull. Nope. It's called what? Remember, bullseye. Watch this. Watch this. No, not crown. But that's true in that aspect, yes. But what I'm, the proper verbiage I want in the context of what I'm teaching. Listen what I said. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. The actual, no, not hippocampus. Listen what I'm saying. Listen. The actual medical term. The actual medical term. No. Listen what I'm saying. The actual medical term for the top 33rd vertebrae of the spine, which holds up the skull, is called what? What is it, Empress? What is it, Empress? Well, okay, I'll wait. Come on, man. I just broke it down. No, not no medulla oblongata. Listen what I just said again. Listen what I just said again. The actual medical term. Islam, Sean Owens. Atlas. Come on. That's why I said this elementary teachings. Watch this. No, not Abdullah no, not Abdullah Abdul God. No. Atlas. Atlas. So when it said that Atlas holds the world upon its shoulders, it is your head, it is your mind, Morris, which he or she holds up, and your skull, when viewed from above, perfectly resembles Atlantis or a bullseye. Are y'all listening to me? The bullseye at the center is your what? It's your third eye, which roars, roar. It's roar, roar. It roars around freely in a chamber of cerebrospinal fluid. Are y'all listening to me? It roams around freely in a chamber of cerebrospinal fluids. This is surrounded, Morris, by the what? Cerebral cortex, which itself is covered by a layer of constantly flowing, pumping, sacrificial bulls, blood, and enclosed by the skull cap. Did y'all hear what I just said? By the skull cap. They call it a beanie. They call it a beanie, right? Or a kufi, right? But really it's your skull cap. The Jews call it what? Their yarmulke. It's really the skull cap. The three concentric circles of the solid separate by two concentric circles of liquid, or the bin. See the tree of life, Morris, with Atlas, 7 dancing daughters, and a serpent coiled around. It's similar to symbolism found in the Bible and many other religions throughout history, the world over, Moors, and the ancient Indian the yogis. That tradition, long predating the Bible, the tree of life was our spine with 7 chakra, the nerve, the energy centers, and the transformational kundalini serpent energy coiled at our base. And through that yoga, and through that kundalini yoga and meditation, Moors, the kundalini serpent travels up the spine, opening the illuminating the chakras one by one. This is why the numbers in the biblical scriptures, remember Numbers 8 and 2, it says what? Speak to Aaron and say unto him, when thou lightest the lamp, the 7 lamps shall give light over against the candlestick. Y'all don't even know what that means esoterically. See, the candlestick is your spine, and the lamps are our chakras. Chakras means what? The wheel of light. See, in Exodus 7 and 10, Moses and Aaron went in up to Pharaoh, right? And they did so as the Lord commanded. And Aaron cast down his robe before Pharaoh, right? And before his servants, and it became a serpent. Again, Aaron's rod is his spine, and the serpent is kundalini. Are you believing in some fake magical stuff? See, the Egyptian pharaohs were also well aware of his spiritual symbology, as their traditional headdresses was none other than what? A cobra hood with a serpent coming out of the third eye, right? Come on, Morris. We knew this science. Revelations 5 and 1 reads, and I saw the right hand of him that sat on the throne, a book written within, and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. Just like your spine, your backside sealed with 7 chakras. Right? So you got Buddha in Thailand. Buddha is their Jesus, and the many believe he performed several similar literal miracles as Jesus. walking on water over 500 years. Buddha was said to have been born and instantly began walking, taking several steps after each, right? Come on, y'all. See? All these stories. In another tale, taken literally by most Buddhists, Buddha was meditating under a tree when it began to rain, all that stuff. Right? And if you ask the average Christian if they believe these Buddhist miracles, they will laugh at you. And they will laugh at the idea of a snake turning into a man. But at the same time, they believe Moses and Aaron's staff turned into a snake. Do you hear this? Do you hear the asinineness of this empress? A Christian to say that Moses, they believe in some Moses staff turned into a snake, but won't believe the story of the Buddhists. The same stuff. You see the asinineness? Their story come from somewhere. The number 7 appears an incredible 735 times in the Bible, more than any other number. In Revelations alone, 54 sevens, including 7 seals, 7 churches, 7 trumpets, 7 personages, 7 veils, 7 woes, 7 angels, 7 thunders, 7 plagues, 7 glories, 7 blessings. There are 7 deadly sins, 7 days of the creation, 7 circles around the wall of Jericho, 7 years building the temple of Solomon. Again and again, the number 7 is given incredible significance over any other number in the scriptures. Christians say the number 7 denotes spiritual perfection and divine fullness, completeness, totality. But is that all? What is the real meaning of this? What is the original meaning of this numerology? Is it the same as the Atlantis 7 daughters dancing around the tree of life? Is it the same reason that the 7 lotus blossoms appear under Buddha's feet? After the 7th day of creation, God had millennial rest of 1,000 years because the 7 crown chakra is known as the what? What? The 1,000 what? Petal lotus? Come on, man. Are y'all rocking with this science? They get you with all spookism and mythology. And I'm telling you, we're gonna give you the SO and the XO. So these myths long predated the Bible and were purposely encoded as a symbolic keys to spiritual enlightenment. And they were never meant to be read literally or historically. And the reason Jesus, which is Yahshua Moorish, lived 33 years is the same reason the first temple of Solomon stood pristine for 33 years. King David ruled for 33 years, right? The story. Leah had 33 children. Freemasons have 33 degrees. And Atlas is your 33rd vertebrae. That's why I tell you, I don't give a damn if you're a European, an Albion, or a black Freemasonry. Man, you only got 33 degrees of wisdom. That's snowman wisdom. That's man-made wisdom. The spiritual numerology and symbology in the Bible are there for those with the eyes to see, but hidden under literal translation, parable, symbology, and interpretation by the very left-brained persons that Jesus' story or Yahshua ought to set free. Y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't listening. Y'all is not listening. So how you gonna diss something, Moors? How you gonna diss something when I show you genetically that you are the Jew? You are the Igbo of Nigeria. You the Igbo, the Igbo. You are the Jews. How you gonna diss something? How you gonna diss something when I can take that Bible and show you in the biblical scriptures that the Asiatic man is the father of civilization? In the Esoteric, and then I break the Esoteric down. I just gave you the Eso science, and then now when we deal with the Exoteric, when I say I don't give a damn how you teach it, the Esoteric, when Negroes like to say what's above and what's below, I say what that mean. Because you can be righteous and understand the science, but when we talk about genealogy and the people of the book, when I talk about the Exoteric, come on, man, it proved that we are the people of the book. What book? Every book. And I can prove it. And everybody know it. So why would a Negro, black, or color, or more diss anything they don't know nothing about? And I can destroy all your dumb, connotated, religious, dogmatic perspective. And our Prophet Noble Drew Ali already done it as well. What is our Moorish Quran is about? What is the Silent Brotherhood of the East is all about? What is these teachings is all about? What is these teaching all about? I showed y'all over and over, man, what these teachings tell us. It's prejudice. If we're going to tell a story, they prejudice historians, lecturers. Talk about Ham is the father of the black civilization. Okay, if that's the case, and if he was cursed, he couldn't have been cursed. Because for biblical record, and anyone not totally blind with prejudice, you understand that in the book of Genesis, in the 9th chapter, from the 20th to the 27th verse, Moors, inclusively, that Noah did not, for he could not curse Ham, although he did in a fit of intoxication. That don't mean nothing. He pronounced a curse on Canaan, which Negroes do. That don't mean nothing. The son of so-called Ham. But you got to understand that Canaan was never inconvenienced by no curse of no Noah, because he was the father of 7 prosperous nations. And among them were the Canaanites, the Phoenicians, and the Sidonians. And the Sidonians sprang from Sidon. Who was the Phoenicians and the Sidonians? The Sidonians sprang from Sidon, who was the first sons of Canaan, according to, in your Bible, Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 15th verse. And these same Sidonians are the men descended from the so-called Asiatic men, or misnomer black men, who so-called Solomon ordered Hiram of Tyre. Hiram of Tyre, who in masonry, Hiram of beef of Tyre. They buried you in a shallow grave, to engage to do the skill hewing and the designing of the timber work on Solomon's temple. See, after all this, it's something under Solomon's temple. I'm telling you, man, declaring that these same Sidonians were black men or Asiatic Moors. I'm telling you. They were first to complete the timber work on the temple. Read in 1 Kings, the 5th and the 6th, the 5th chapter, the 6th verse. Chapter 6. The verse speaks very plainly of this fact. If we want to tell about the story called Solomon, Solomon knew that his race was a superior and not inferior. If we're going to tell a story, why? He married Pharaoh's daughter. Read in 1 Kings, the 3rd chapter, the 1st verse, the 7th chapter, the 8th verse, also the 9th chapter and the 16th verse. If you're going to tell a story of who the people were in the book, Solomon's wife could have been as dark-skinned or even as black as she was. They're just telling the stories of Sheba and all these stories, and then I can show you in history who Sheba's name really was in ancient history before they started making stuff modern, but you think everything is fake. Listen, Ethiopian Pharaohs, listen, if Moors say they read the hieroglyphs, watch this. Egypt had 2 full-blooded Ethiopian pharaohs just before and during the reign of so-called Solomon, according to their pen, according to Herodotus. The 2 Ethiopians were Sabaco, S-A-B-A-C-O, or Sabikos, S-E-B-I-C-H-O-S, and Sitos, F-E-T-H-O-S. Research it. The Bible does not show that God ever turned a black man to disgrace him from his sins or anything else. But the same Bible does show that Allah's power did turn a man white to disgrace him because of his sins, and said that his seed would be likewise forever. This ain't me. So if the scripture says when you put his hand in his bosom and it came out as white, if you want to tell a story, and then they put it back in and it came out back to the color, evidently a logical person knew your skin wasn't white. This is just logic. Facts are stubborn, but you can't disagree with facts. Read the 5th chapter of the 2nd Kings. Read the 25th and the 26th and the 27th verse. Read it. Read this science. You don't gotta listen to me. That's why I say the Asiatic man, I boldly assert, was the father of civilization, born in the land of Egypt, or the continent of Africa, or Kibalan, or Maximum, or whatever, or Asia, whatever you name you want to connotate it. And the different branches of science and art were simply transmitted to other races, which as the ages have rolled by, have only been enlarged, and some to the extent improved upon. Even modern American Negroes have proven that he is original. When we talk about the tonsorial artist, he has no superiors, and no Negro was ever known to enter a barber college to learn that trade historically. Negroes inherited the sweetest, most musical voices. That's why if you ever heard a misnomer Negro or a Moor quartet or a choir, after they arrange the harmony of a piece that they are singing, You understand what I'm talking about? That sweet sound. Instrumentalist. You know? Blind Tim, Blind Boom displayed this skill, this inapt skill. See, God, Allah honored the Asiatic man by allowing some of his Moorish blood or his Abyssinian or his Ethiopian blood or his Negro blood to flow in the veins of his so-called son, Jesus Christ. If we're going to tell a story, watch this. If we're going to tell a story, and then people say, oh, it don't matter no more. Oh, now it don't matter no more. We can prove that you are the people of the book. We are the people of the book. So let's deal with it. And I tell y'all that Jesus, which is Yahshua, in today's standard, will be classified a misnomer Negro, but he'll be correcting himself as a Moor because he's dealing with justice. And I make this assertion only on the authority of the Bible, according to which Jesus, which is Yahshua, was born out of what? The tribe of Judah. So how can a Moor say he's following the teachings of our noble Drew Ali, and if you say you're a real sheik, and on our paperwork, it tells you exactly if we're going to connect our people to the fathers and mothers of civilization, you telling me you're not from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood? Huh? It don't make sense. Judah only 5 children. Judah had only 5 children, and they were males. If we're going to break it down to the story, 1 Chronicles, 2nd chapter, the 4th verse. 3 by his first wife, and 2 by his second wife. Read the story. 1 Chronicles, the 2nd chapter, 3rd and the 4th verse. And both by his wife were what? Descendants of Canaan. A black man or Asiatic man or Moor, who was the what? The son of Ham, right? If we're going to break the Bible story down, Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 6th verse. Tamar, Judah's second wife, bore him what? 2 of these sons, whose name was what? Phares, P-H-A-R-E-S, and Zerah, Z-A-R-A-H. Oh, you thought them was some girls, huh? See? You lies. If we're going to tell a story. 1 Chronicles, the 2nd chapter, and the 4th verse. These 2 names appear in what? The genealogy of Jesus, which is Yahshua, or Jesus Christ, in the book of Matthew. 1st chapter, 3rd verse. So it is no trouble to see that Judah, if we're going to tell a story, of whom the Christ was to come, started out by presenting the world children of Canaanite women, whom were Hamite descendants. So now if we're going to tell a story about Virgin Mary, if we're going to talk about Virgin Mary, if we're going to tell a story, whom Christ was born, was beyond all doubt a woman of the tribe of Judah. And the Bible reference proclaims that Jesus was to spring, or Yahshua was to spring from the tribe of Judah, right? Genesis 49 and 10, Hebrews 7 and 14, Revelations 5, the 5th verse, right? And you're going to disconnect yourself because you're going to let somebody tell you garbage. If our prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches, we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. And if we say in Romans 1 and 3 that Jesus, which is Yahshua, was of the seed of David according to the flesh, David is the 10th man named from Judah in the genealogy of Jesus, or Yahshua the Messiah. Matthew the 1st chapter, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the 6th verse. Added to this, David's great-grandfather, Booz, was born of the woman Rahab, who was a direct descendant of Ham. And then all the Moors like to talk about Ruth the Moabitess. I say, how can you talk about Ruth the Moabitess and you diss her genealogy? You got to be crazy. Matthew the 1st chapter, the 5th verse. This also shows that David, one of Allah's greatest soldiers, was one whose most successful led his people, and one who would have Negro blood in his veins. And the Bible history is full of honors for the Asiatic man. Jethro, the Ethiopian, or the misnomer Negro, father-in-law of Moses, who was the author, who employed today the judicial system. Where'd that come from? The Mayat. I'm telling you, the judgment. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? This tells, the chapter tells of Jethro's visit to Moses and how he gave Moses the foundation, you know? And the Hebrew emancipator was named by a so-called black woman, Pharaoh's daughter. She is said to call him Moses because she drew him out of the water. Exodus 2 and 10. And besides Moors, Asiatic or misnomer black men educated Moses. And at any rate, he received what education he had in the schools of black or Asiatic people of Egypt. Acts 7th and the 22nd. It's there. Come on. If Jesus, Yahshua studied in the Mediterranean, Luxor, man, y'all thought them was just some religious temples? Them was schools of thought. Y'all know I'm telling y'all the truth. That's why traditions of antiquity points to Memphis and Babylon. And when I tell you in the biblical scriptures, in the Bible, Mizraim is Egypt. What y'all think they talk about Memphis, the ancient rite of Memphis and Mizraim? What y'all think I'm talking about when I have this, the ancient free Moorish rite? This science is ours. You missing it. They giving you all bad stuff. You connect your stuff to bull crap. I'm talking about the science. Antiquity points to Memphis and Babylon as the fountains of human wisdom. That's what y'all missing. And the early queen of Egypt was the descendant of the Ethiopians, or the so-called Negro race and the Moorish race. It's all there. She was one of the first to bring the fleet of warships on the Nile River. When you start tracing things, when I started talking about the Empress Nanny of the Jamaican Maroons, you can start connecting things in history. They have no doubt traced this Asiatic woman to where they are satisfied that she was a descendant in direct lineal line from Zipporah, the black or the Moorish and the Ethiopian wife of Moses. And we read very little of these two women because modern writers seek to obscure our empresses. When I show you, I can show you all our Asiatic women in history that was mighty, that was pharaohs, warriors, because a lot of them Negroes were some chumps. And in our history, in our science, our empress sits on the throne with us. I don't know what a couple of these goofballs talking about. My empress sits on the throne with me. I honor my empresses, all of them. Why y'all think Gaddafi had a soldier of empresses? All his soldiers was empresses. And our ministers, or the Gospels, they never preach or lecture on the part of this Bible in which they are mentioned. I keep telling y'all, we are divine ministers. We are sheiks. We all of that. This is what we're supposed to be teaching in the temples. Why? Because if they do, they must give credit to the Asiatic perspective. And them Negroes know this. So why them sheiks, why them people ain't telling you that? In connection, I don't even speak biblically history only. Man, I can go all the way back in history, far beyond the extent. When I talk about Hannibal, the Carthaginian general, when I can talk about all accomplishments of the Moors without intervening of any long periods of time, from Alexander Dumas to Saint-El Overture, Alexander Pushkin, the African poet. I can go all in down broader in a republic, begin with Crispus Attucks or Alexander Hamilton. Record the accomplishment of these same Asiatic mans of Ham down to today, and you're going to think everything is fake. That's the problem with us. That's the problem with us. I'm telling you, Moors. Y'all know I'm telling you the truth. This is simple logic. Ham, the father of the so-called black man located in Africa. Africa was his homestead. If we telling the story, David, the psalmist, credit Ham with this territory in the 105th Psalms, the 23rd and the 27th verse, and also the 106th Psalms, the 22nd verse. And if this is not true, and we reject it on the ground of not being sufficient proof of the Asiatic man's first and original home, we can on quite as good grounds, Moorish, reject any and every other part of the Bible. For what I hear state is no wild imagination, but facts taken from the Bible. Cush, Mizraim, Hut, and Canaan were the first sons of Ham. Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 6th verse. And these four sons, including Nimrod, the grandsons of Ham, were the first to start the work on the problem of civilization. In a word, they were the pioneers and the pillars of civilization governments. Cush, located in South Egypt on the river Nile, he became the father of the Ethiopians, as well as the father of the Cushites, through Nimrod, who located on the southern part of the Euphrates River. It's also to be remembered that Nimrod is the founder of the Babylonian kingdom in Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 10th verse. Mizraim, located on the upper part of the river Nile, and he became the father of the Egyptians. Hut, located in the northern part of Africa. All family. Canaan, located in the land known as the old Palestine country, which is modern Turkey. Canaan became the father of the Canaanites. Read Genesis, the 10th chapter, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, the 19th verse. So according to the Bible, the exact location of the first sons of Ham, and the question which naturally follows is, was civilization born in their land and given birth by Ham's first offsprings? Is this conceded by John Clark Riffa and a few other writers on ancient history that the Egyptians were the fathers of civilization, according to the chronological of Matthew, the Egyptian priest? Egypt was founded in the year BC 3892, and Menes was the first mortal king. The all-important question now arises, were the Egyptians the descendants of the Asiatic men or the black men, or were they the descendants of white men or Albians? Were they the descendants of Ham or Shem? It is well known that students claim to be divided on their opinion as to the original stock from which the ancient Egyptians come. But hey, some say they were neither Semitic nor Negro. Okay, whatever. But conclude his remarks on the origin of the Egyptians by saying that the ancient Egyptians were considered a branch of that part of the Cushite family. Do you hear that? But the Europeans conclude in his remarks on the origin of the Egyptians. This is what they say. They said by that the ancient Egyptians were considered a branch of that part of the Cushite family. Descendants, Moors, descendants, which settled in Asia, and probably the little matter of the Cushites being the grandchildren of Ham. It slipped these goofballs' minds. It slipped these goofballs' minds. Y'all ain't connected y'all genealogy? The statement would not have been so conflicting because the goofballs, they already repeat. They already tell you, saying that they were not Negroes, but ends their argument by saying that they were a branch of the Cushite family of Asia. Asia is Africa. It don't require no laborious research to establish the fact that Cush was the father of all Cushite nations. He was also the first son of Ham, Genesis the 10th chapter, the 6th verse. And if the Ethiopians or the Abyssinians and all other Cushite nations who sprang from the first son of Ham were not Negroes, well, will some of the historians omit the word probably? So much is used by them. You gotta connect the dots. We learn more from the Bible that Ham is the father of the African family, that Ethiopia is the darkest or the blackest tribe of Hamites. Cush was the founder of the first or the father of this tribe. Moses selected his wife from the black or the Ethiopian tribe. If we're going to tell a story, that's Numbers, the 12th chapter, the 1st verse. So why are you going to diss something? If you can prove they want to tell a story, they only talking about you. It must be plain to anyone who will read the parts referred to in the Bible that these people try to contend that the Egyptians sprang from the Cushites was the wrong avenue to escape the blood of the Negro, or their relation to the black man's family, or the Asiatics, or the Moors. People be having good faith in some things, but that ain't historical. Historical writers claim that the Egyptians descended from a white race. That's crazy. And they admit that the Old Testament gives the truest and the most complete, reliable record of the origin of the Egyptians of any other book, right? That's what they say. So it's not unnatural to believe that their opinion are influenced by racial prejudice. See, the Bible contains the only authentic and certainty, not only the Egyptians, but all mankind. And I can prove it, that the Egyptians, the Hamite, sprang from Mizraim. Mizraim is Egypt. Watch this, and I'm done. Watch this, and this is going to be so simple. And y'all better stop dissing the Bible. And y'all call yourself some Egyptologists, and you dissing the science. Watch this. According to the Biblical Gazette, or the lexicon, the word Egypt, watch this, the word Egypt is derived from the word Mizraim. And the word Mizraim was the same of one of the first sons of Ham. Genesis the 10th chapter, the 6th verse. So by the word Egypt being coined from the word Mizraim, it strengthens my understanding and your science that the Egyptian was descended from the Asiatic man or the misnomer black man. And then we can dig down further into the rich earth of more proof, more enlightenment of the book of truth by viewing the ancient Bible map of Africa and Asia. Watch this. Which map can be found in the back of any Bible? The New Testament, I don't give a damn which one you get. And you can pick up the spots upon which Shem, Ham, Japhet first located, if you can read a map. And you would notice that Mizraim, the second son of Ham, and the accredited father of the Egyptians, located on the very spot. So what I'm saying is, Moors, where the great city of Memphis was built by Menes, the first king of Egypt. And again, you would notice that all the names within African borders are the names of the sons of Ham, Shem, and his offsprings, located in Asia. And perhaps a better way to locate Ham, Shem, and Japhet and their first offsprings is to read the 10th and the 11th chapter of Genesis, then locate their names on the map. And it will be easily seen that not a Shemite or a European or Albion, no disrespect, originally located in Africa, and all of the European or the Albion or the white, no disrespect, men located in Asia. And according to the Bible, white men never began to travel in Africa until Abraham's time in BC 1921. This is the Bible facts. And the Egyptians lived in a high state of civilization near 2,000 years before Abraham's first visit to Egypt. And the appearance of European or whites or Albion people was a circus and a curiosity to most misnomered black people. Abraham realized this fact and commanded his wife to represent herself as his sister, right? Because as he said, she was fair to look upon. White. Y'all missing it. Genesis, the 12th chapter, the 11th and the 12th and the 13th verse. This would indicate that the Egyptians were not white or Albion, and I will say this without fear of my assertion being disproven, that until after the time of Abraham, and the Egyptians were a Simon pure black race, and shortly after Abraham's visit, Moors, the Shemitic or the white or the Albion travelers began to pour into Egypt to such an extent that the Egyptians began to intermarry with them. And of course, the intermarrying had its effect on the pure Asiatic or the Negro blood. And this intermarrying was the cause of the Asiatic man or the full-blooded Egyptians losing the power or the control in the kingdom. When I show y'all in Masonry, when I talk about the daughters of American Revolution, when you let some Negro Moor tell you that our empresses can't wear the white fez with the gold tassel, garbage. And in other words, this is the loop through which the shepherd or the European or the Albion, no disrespect, Shemitic king slipped through and took possession of the Egyptian kingdom. Remember I was telling y'all, Serapis Christo, Alexander the Greek? Come on, man. So I'm done. Any questions? Let me grab some. Any questions? And then I'm done. I'll answer some questions for 5 minutes, and I'm done. Closing out. All right, man, we closing out. Any questions? Any questions? We closing out. Watch, tomorrow I'm gonna give you some little law on how people be getting themselves caught up by police doing coming up with that fake law. And I'm gonna show you how a lot of people just be talking. Watch. I'm gonna show you some real law tomorrow in our civics. I'm gonna do a little bit of civics, but I'm gonna give you some amazing things that you need to know and be like, man, now I see what Noble's saying. All these Negroes getting themselves in trouble with this fake law and all this garbage people doing. You know? We talk about search and seizure. I'm gonna give y'all some some high science about the constitutional search and seizure. If we're going to tell a story, I'm going to tell a lot of Moors. Now, I want y'all to keep something in your brain. When I talk about things, how you got to know how to trump things in law. I'm going to give you just going to give you a little something. When I talk about keeping your hand in your mind, exclusionary rule. Keep that in your mind, exclusionary rule. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you some stuff. And I'm going to show you some stuff in law. How we do things the right way. So any question on this teaching, man? And like I said, most Moors are not going to get what I'm saying the first time. That's why you got to write notes. That's why I want Moors to become students. Because when I teach, and then Moors wanted me to ask, I'm like, yes, but you should write notes and then be students and get the literature and then study at home and then we come back. You know, that's why I encourage brothers to be students, because I'm going to be gone in a minute. I'm going to be gone in a minute, man. Any questions, Moors? Any questions? I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to leave y'all with this, some international law. Do any more know what qualified immunity is? This is how when I said the language, when I break down language, when I be like, for the record, Your Honor, and when I be doing things the right way, the verbiage, when I know people be lying. Do anybody know what qualified immunity is? Watch this. And I'm going to give you all this in law. You don't know what that is, do you? Most Negroes don't. That's how they get caught up. Remember I told y'all, in a court of law, there's no excuse of not knowing the law. Don't I say that? Yes. So when you go in the court of law, under the pretense of you thinking you know something because some more done said something on the internet, and that referee has the right to lock you up for contempt of court. Yep, because you never should have came to my chambers not knowing the law. Absolutely. So when I talk about qualified immunity, a defendant who has been subject to unreasonable search and seizure. I'm talking about in your car. When Moors don't know the right verbiage, when I say, okay, your house is private too, and it must be certain things, but you don't get it. Your car can be too, in a certain manifestation. If you understand that it's private, remember I'm telling you, if you think something and you don't understand is valid, when we talk about subjective and objective, then you lost. It's the proper verbiage, but listen to what I'm saying. A defendant who has been subject to unreasonable search and seizure typically will have no remedy against the police officer who performed the search. This is due to qualified immunity, which is a doctrine that protects government employees when they perform certain actions pertaining to their occupations. A police officer who qualifies for qualified immunity is protected from being personally sued by the defendant. But then there's certain things you got to know to combat that. And I'm going to leave it at that. See? And then see, that's why I be laughing. I'm like, these Negroes don't know law. All the precedent cases, I have them because it's free information. So when people come with that garbage, I know how to protect myself with the law and a certain, for the record, Your Honor, when I give precedent cases. When people be talking about their Miranda rights. Yeah, I know that's my Fifth Amendment. When I tell Moors, I'm gonna explain myself. You know, you got the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I don't have nothing. You ain't gonna have no record or no pamphlet to say I said nothing. I ain't said nothing. Even with the person that's my legal rep, I don't have nothing to say. So I'm gonna leave that there. But Islam Moors, any questions on the teachings today? Moors, I encourage y'all to become students, man. Stop thinking everything fake. I just broke that science down and told you that we are the people of the books, the Egyptian, the Phoenician, the Hebrew, the all that's us. What you mean being in the private, not the public? What you mean, Noble? What you mean by being in the private, in the public? You got to understand the teaching when we talk about international law, because a lot of people don't be making sense. What you mean being in the private and the public, Noble? This is why I was saying that a lot of Moors are not educated properly on the nationality side. So when you say being in the private and the public, what do you mean by that? And that's what I want people to understand. Like, it's because we the people, and we choose to be dispersed. So what do you mean private and public? Qualified immunity. Okay, so but qualified immunity, how? What I'm saying, this ain't no get out of jail free card. You got to understand the context of what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying when I was talking about the 13th Amendment and the Declaration of Human Rights, Moors, languages have a duality. So that's why I'm saying a lot of teachers I'm saying, Moors are still not getting it because we're not connecting it. And that's why I continue to encourage Moors. Once we start teaching again, Moors need to come to class every day, because a lot of us are missing the aspect. So when you say immunity, what type of immunity? When I'm saying immunity, what I'm saying, you ain't finna talk to no police unless you get immunity, giving up information. Ain't nobody have no immunity rights like you just obsolete from laws. That ain't what I'm saying. Immunity to mean if I'm gonna say anything, I got immunity from the crime. So if that's what you're saying, yes, you're not finna talk or give no information unless the information you giving is gonna give you immunity and from you being charged for anything. That's number one. But I'm talking about in dealing with the police. So when Moors talk about, when Moors on the other's perspective, so in the other perspective, when Moors talking about their immunity, man, just because you're a Moor, it ain't no magical like you can't get yourself arrested and get in trouble. That ain't the law of the Sundey Moore Act. I just explained it. The Sundey Moore Act. Isaac, can you find, I got one of my books just like these. I'm gonna read this till I'm done. It look like this, and it say the Consular Courts. It's a little one like this, a pamphlet. It say Consular Courts. So when I tell Moors, you missing the whole aspect of the Sundey Moore Act. You missing it when it's pertaining to law, when it's pertaining to criminal law. You missing it. They saying that they didn't want to be judged like Negro, blacks, and colored. If a Moor killed a U.S. citizen and vice versa, they were going to be a judge under the laws of what? A citizen under Morocco, per se, because Negro, blacks, and colored didn't have any human rights, or let alone civil rights. Yep. Are you following me? If you can't find it, that's fine, Isis. I think it's over in that other one, though. In that, that's it, you got it? Oh, I think it's over there in that bucket one. So all I'm saying that we must be educated on the laws. I broke down the lecture, Declaration of Human Rights, in the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment. More should be clear. More should be clear. And then, how you gonna think you immunity? Where are you a national from? You don't have dual citizenship. So when people be talking about immunity, and when they be talking about they are national, that means you have citizenship from somewhere else. Just like when the people was under the Sultan of Morocco, they were citizens of Morocco. They had dual citizenship in the Americas. Let me see. Yep, that's it. This it. Okay. So how when more talk about some immunity over what? So I'm finna read you something to you, and I'm finna read something to you, Noble, because I'll be giving y'all the law. And that's why I said I have to read stuff over and over, and I encourage Moors to be students, because Moors missing the law of freedom, immunity from what? You commit murder, you're going to be tried. We got to comprehend this, get this fake magical stuff out of our head. I'm going to read something to you. The Consular Courts from Scholarship, 1893. When I be telling Moors, man, y'all be letting people get y'all caught up with magic and spookism. It ain't no such thing as no Moorish American Counseling or no MAC number today, period. I'm going to read this for y'all and I'm done. The treaty between the United States and Morocco gives to the council of the former. So you need to know the council of the former is. You got to understand this. Exclusive jurisdiction in disputes among the citizens of the United States and in criminal cases. It is provided by the 21st article of the same treaty, which reads as follows. If a citizen of the United States shall kill or wound a Moor, or on the contrary, if a Moor shall kill or wound a citizen of the United States, the law of the country takes place and equal justice shall be rendered. Equal justice. A Negro, black, or color don't have no equal justice. Are y'all listening to me? The council assisting at the trial, and if any delinquent shall make his escape, the council shall not be answerable for him in any manner whatsoever. And then the treaty between the United States and Madagascar, entered in 1881, gives the United States Council exclusive jurisdiction over disputes and offenses, either civil or criminal, committed among the citizens of the United States residing in Madagascar. That's how they were nationals. Why? Because they state or their national recognized them. Y'all missing it. And in the case of disputes and offenses, civil or criminal, committed on the citizens of the United States against the citizens of Madagascar, or vice versa, shall be investigated, tried, and adjudged by mixed courts. And there are, in Madagascar, mixed superior and inferior courts. An appeal may be taken from the inferior courts to superior courts, where original jurisdiction is also exercised. And I'm done. I can go all over this, man. So don't let nobody get you caught up with that garbage, with that, they finna give you some immunity. Yeah, okay. You will be sitting your butt rotting in jail. The fire do burn, and you can find out the hard way. Islam? And I've been breaking this. That's why I've been breaking these laws down. Last week, I just broke the Declaration of Human Rights. I just did this. I just broke this down. I just broke this Declaration of Human Rights down and told you what frees you in law. You don't got no immunity from no damn crimes. I broke this down, the 13th of the 14th, the 15th Amendment, and the Declaration of Human Rights, and we still not listening. And that's why I said we got to become educated, or you will get yourself in trouble, Moors. I love y'all, man. Islam.